Today I'm going to be answering the age-old question of, can you make parkour infinite? The idea is that it would act like something like this, where you stand on one spot, the next location spawns around you, you jump to that one, and then you have a new spot to land on in front of you, and you're supposed to keep going on and on and on. And my goal is to make it entirely out of command blocks in this world right now, and just see if I can figure that challenge out. My first thought is to immediately pick a direction and kind of stick with it. I think going around in loops or circles might be very difficult to control, and having it go all in one direction will make it way easier. Alright, so I just made it a command block here that's just going to say hi in chat if the pressure plate underneath me is getting powered, and it's working. Perfect. And then I just added a few more, so now when we stand here, that's going to be a redstone block. Next, I want to power a randomizer to give us 9 different outputs. Alright, so what I've done next is I've added this little shulker randomizer here for these outputs. So when I stand over here, one of those lights, and it'll be random, will activate. As you can see there, it was 5. And it doesn't loop forever because the pressure plate gets removed from where I'm standing, and I can place a new one to get a new set. So there was 3, that was like 6, that was all 9, and it's fully random because this is full of all the different kinds of numbers. So using the Genius Redcoder by Dragon Samus, I'll probably link him in the description right there. Now every single time I stand on here, we get a single signal from the redstone torches, and you can see it all the way down, and one light shows up only. So from here, I'm just gonna send these into some command blocks and see what else I can do. So what I've done now is I've redefined the system right now. Only this one is going to work. That's if we roll a 1, and the idea is that that one will place it about 2 blocks in front of us and up 1. And there it is. So then, of course, you'd be able to jump to the next one, and it would do the same if you got lucky and landed on that one. But one very important thing I did is, you look back here, is I created a new system where that block needs to be powered in order for this system to activate. This one turns that off, and this one turns that one back on. That way, you can't trigger the system again until the end of the chain loop, and these blocks can clone the ones below you for the next one. Next, I want to, of course, add more positions to it, and also remove these previous blocks. So I just went through and I just added the rest of them for the whole 9. So now when I jump here, I got 3 of them, and then I got 2 of them. Oh, now this is a bug I've never seen before. I know what's happening. So while that was going on, these redstone torches are powering not only the one above it, but the ones next to it. And so it's running 3 at once instead of just 1. Which is why you get some interesting combinations here. Alright, this should actually be it. So now I jump here, a new spot shows up, a new spot shows up. I'm starting to realize I put them pretty close. Like, this would be a boring parkour. So I think I want to move these jumps a little bit further out. And I might need to add more jumps, because like I just got 2 repeats like in a row. Here we go, I just made them way more extreme. Okay. That's not bad. That one's still normal. Oh, that one's pretty tough. So let's like a 3 up one. I mean, okay, that's just not doable. I don't remember adding that jump. This one keeps showing up. I gotta go look at that. Yeah, no, that was just my bad. I just put it in a bad spot. So hopefully now we won't get the super high up one. As you see, I have to break it every single time. I'm gonna make the previous spot disappear. For deleting the old spots, what I opted for was to do a bit of a check. It'd fill a big area behind me and delete any gold, because the pressure plate's already gone from the jump that I did. And so when you stand here, it should just check for that and get rid of it. This does mean I can't go backwards in the jumps, but I didn't intend for that, like I said at the beginning, so we're good. Alright, I just tried adding some more interesting spots, so they should be a little bit more varied and tougher by design. I don't know what to do about falling down yet. I was thinking of just teleporting the player back and just saying that they lost. I was also thinking of maybe there should be a way to count score. How far is this? Okay, that's just not doable. I gotta change that one. So what I just did real quick is added a scoreboard on the side. That should increase only once, but it seems to be going up twice. There, now it's actually going to be working properly. It goes up by 1 to 2 to 3. It's perfect. So an idea I had for this is maybe at a certain milestone something happens, maybe every 20 or every 50. So I just put something in for number 50, and it's firework rocket. I don't know if I should make this shoot up higher or whatever, but one thing I definitely want to do is make it so it happens at every 50 and not just at 50. Alright, it's my first time testing it. I just set it to 4 to begin with. Of course later I want it to be 50. So every 4 should have an explosion. And instead that happened on 2, which is really weird. Does it even happen on 4? It does. And 5. Alright, so I've been at it for a little while and I finally did get it to work. So now every 4 jumps you get a little firework explosion, as you can see there. I'm gonna probably set that to maybe do it as every 10. The one thing is it is kind of loud and in your face, and I kind of would have preferred to go up in the air a little bit. And I just put it on 10, and now it goes up in the air for a little bit. I don't know if that's too much. I have it set to just 2 seconds. Alright, so it's been a pretty long time. I've kind of redid a lot of the programming. I decided I wanted to make the pause between waiting for the next block a little bit better. And to do that, I decided to remap everything based on armor stands. So if I hop in this picture real quick, you'll notice there's an armor stand here. Don't worry about that guy down there. And he is marking that spot so that when I jump here, the next one can generate without me being at it. And that means that you technically are waiting less time, at least theoretically. The issue is if you go really fast, you skip one and it doesn't generate ahead anymore. As you can see here, this one's in front of me. These two didn't get activated, and I mean I can still make this jump and generate the next one, but there's still a pressure plate back there and that whole system, and I don't think it's even clearing anymore at all. So yeah, I don't know what to make of it right now. I guess there's 2 ways I could fix it. I either do actually speed the detection time so you don't have to stand here and wait for that pressure plate to go away, or I can generate even further in advance, you know, maybe up to like 5 more ahead. And I don't know if that would be more difficult or not, but it's still gonna have the same issue where if you skip one, you get less ahead, unless I set up a system to check all that, but that's kind of complicated. One thing that does suck right now is that I can't just break this and leave, because as you saw earlier, you get some leftover armor stands, which means I might need to work on the system for when you fall down, you know, teleporting the player back and cleaning up any armor stands. So I just spent way too long of a time to make everything reset. As you can tell, everything over here is now made of birchwood because I had an incident where all the gold blocks got deleted, but now we're good. So as you can see, you can go along here, and at any time if you miss a jump, oh, there you go. All of it's gone. All the blocks are deleted. I'm set back here. And if you hit in spectator, there's no more armor stands. So this might seem kind of insane, but what I kind of want to do next is try to see if I can remove the pressure plates from the equation and just do if detection based if I'm standing on a gold block. The idea here is that it would be a faster detection than waiting for the pressure plate, because if you stand here, you could tell there is like a slight delay. Even if it is just a frame of delay, I would like to see if I can remove it entirely and hopefully speed this up. And that's really funny that me just pressing on that pressure plate multiple times has generated this so far out. Alright, so real quick, I did that. So now there's no more golden pressure plates. Throw those out, and just standing on top of it will generate the next one. And it does it pretty quick. I also changed the detection system so that it's based on players that have a certain tag. You can definitely notice that the parkour itself is a little bit faster, although there's some issues where if you stand on the edge of blocks, it doesn't detect, and that's an issue I might look into fixing. The other thing you might notice is I added a carpet to the previous block, and that is just to make sure we don't check the same block twice. So yeah, I want to look into see if I can work on edge detection somehow, some way. Alright, so here's a little highlight of the problem. I just set up the command box really quick to display in chat whenever I'm standing on top of a gold block. And you can see it works when I'm standing on top of a gold block. It says yes, and this is when the command is activating. But as soon as I move to about right here, it turns to a no. But as you can see, I'm currently still on the gold block. It's just not what's directly below me. That would be air. So what I have to do now is figure out a different way of detecting when I'm landing. And I say landing very specifically because when you're playing out there, the only thing that you're going to be doing is landing on gold blocks. There's no other blocks out there, so it doesn't actually matter that I'm on a gold block. What does matter though is the simple fact that I am landing and jumping. And the best way to measure that is going to be with motion. So as you can tell, as I jump, the number on the right goes up from -8 to a certain value. And this is my Y motion, or how far or fast I'm moving up and down, as you can tell here. So when I am simply on a platform, it is -8. When I jump, it increases all the way to 0 and then becomes negative and continuously decreases until I hit the object, in which it goes back to -8. At least with this scale level, I can change that one more time, and now it will be about -79. This is more specific, but we can use this to detect whenever I'm on the ground simply by that motion value, because eventually it will have to hit -79 when I land on something. The other issue, however, when I fall, I technically pass by -79 at some point, meaning that it will think that I'm standing when I am also falling, because I'll be falling at the same rate that gravity pulls me when I'm on the ground. This can be better represented once again in chat with these two command blocks. So I have it running right now, where whenever I hit the ground, it will say it in chat, and it works pretty well when I'm simply just jumping. The issue is when I fall. So the best way to tell that this is still a problem is by flying. When I fall from mid-air, my number just constantly decreases, and as that happens, it passes by the ground level, which is -79. You can see it in chat show up for a second and ripple up really quickly, where it says on ground when I'm not in the ground. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this detection method just in and see if it works fine. Hopefully the amount of false positives is so little that it wouldn't matter. I think I've gotten close. I've combined the jumping and landing with the carpet and fixed all of the bugs, which there were a lot. But it is still slow. It's simply slow because the randomizer is slow, and I was thinking of ways to fix it, and I might be able to try to have the randomizer running all the time and then just instantly calling for the next block when I need it. The other issue that happens with this, as you can see out there, is that there was a floating carpet, and that happens from landing like this. I mean, it still counts, which is what we want, that's good, but now the block's here, and if I stand here and jump, it would count this as another jump, which makes it generate out further, which isn't inherently bad. It's just an issue with that you'll have floating carpet there, which I could fix by just clearing carpet on the way out, or doing some other method of knowing when I've placed the block needed. We'll look at it. Alright, so I've been long at work. I've completely redone how I randomize. So before I was using a physical piston and a bunch of repeaters, and it was really dumb. Now I am actually just using a dispenser that is constantly being filled with the shulker boxes, and then I physically clear it with a set block command, and then that just is constantly running now instead of being activated on a trigger. This way, we always have random redstone torches being powered, and all I have to do is place a row of blocks there, and it will set a new gold block and power the rest of the system. Another big change is I'm no longer using Y motion like I was trying to describe earlier. I am instead using this new value that's just fall distance. So it's how far I've been falling for, which is used to calculate fall damage, which is way more reliable because it's always set to 0 the second you hit a block, which means if we just detect whenever I hit 0 after increasing, I'll know when I've landed safely on a block. And this works wonders. As you can see, it is more than able to catch up with me, and in fact even go past me, because currently, I don't know if you can tell by looking at it, it's generating 2 blocks instead of just 1, which is kind of a problem because it gets ahead of you too quickly, and then kind of you lose that feeling of it being infinite parkour, and also it can go so far that it becomes unrendered and then it won't generate anymore. And I'm not sure how to fix that because these blocks right here that activate the command blocks, you'd think they're being powered twice, but they get powered for such a small split second that it doesn't make any sense why they'd be powered twice. So right now I have it activated so that when I start crouching in creative mode, it will count as me falling and the number will go up. And as soon as I stop crouching, or it's falling downwards, it will immediately be set to 0 and the commands will activate. There it is. The stone blocks are there for such a little of time that it makes no sense why they're being powered twice here. Sure, maybe if it switches between the two at the right moment, it's possible. I've been playing with how fast this clock goes. As you can see here, there's a repeater. It used to be faster. In fact, it can be faster, about that quick, which is incredibly quick. And that I thought was a part of the problem. The clock needed to be slowed down. I thought that would fix the issue, and it hasn't yet. And you can even see it still moving along right now even. Honestly, the biggest issue is that I just have to clear a lot of blocks that aren't in my detection range when you fall off. That's the real problem, and double checking. No, all the armor stands are good, so it doesn't even matter for those. This is a little PSA for anyone to please, if you're ever working with command blocks, especially if they include fill and set block commands or clone commands, to use a structure block to save your progress, because you see these command blocks, the row that was right here, they're gone. They're not meant to be gone. They just got cleared to air right now because I messed up a block. And I'm gonna have to just remember, and I put that in quotes because I will not remember, just fill in what I thought those were. These command blocks specifically were the ones that actually chose where the gold block went to in relation to the armor stand, so I gotta rewrite 8 command blocks now. Please be smart, save your stuff with structure blocks. Back to when I figure this out. Alright, so I've been at it for a while. I had to reconstruct everything once again. I feel like I've done that like 5 times now. This time to guarantee that the block placed next is a new block, and happens because sometimes it doesn't happen, and we fixed that now. So as I jump, you can even see the armor stand now, which I don't like, but I can fix it, but it would just be like a small thing. Besides the point, you'll notice immediately this is way slower, and that's because what was happening before is that the randomizer I was using is not fast enough for the jumps, and it seemed like it was, but that was because the last block generated was the first one it generated once you jumped on it again, and then it would roll a second time, and that would be your actual different jump. But something just came of light. As you can tell from the chat, I thought that you had to get randomness from within the game, and then I typed this into the game and found out that you can just randomize values within the game. I didn't think this was possible. I kind of remembered there being a way to do it, but you have to understand that this completely changes everything. That entire circuit can be removed. The delay through all of this can be completely eradicated. It could be instantaneous with this new command, and would require me to rework this entire system from where it's at. The issue is I do not have that time, so I will be making this into a part 2, and in part 2 we will rework the entire system to use the randomness. I didn't want this to be 2 videos. I didn't think I would ever need to, but the fact that I just discovered this random command completely changes everything. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button to let me know that you did, and subscribe if you want to know when I upload next, including part 2 of this where I make it faster, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, goodbye.